Alright guys, here we have a Carrera Subway 1. Quite a bit of work done on it already. Spent quite a lot of time on it, replaced a few cables. The main job really was, to be honest, was a deep clean and the new chain. You can see how clean that is. It was completely caked, and all the jockey wheels was completely caked. But I just want to present a video on this rear derailleur. My point being that you got the limit screws here, the high and the low limit screws, which control how far the derailleur moves either inboard or outboard, and ultimately controls how far the derailleur moves the chain either onto this big cog or small cog. So for example, if the low limit's set too high, the chain will go into the spokes. If the high limit's set too high, the chain will jump off into the frame. Anyway, my point is, guys, that those limit screws they're usually set. They should be set when a bike is brand new. If they're not completely set, the derailleur will never work properly. And they should be set when a bike is brand new. And they should be good for a derailleur for the whole life of that bike. The whole life of the bike. They should never need adjusting. And the same with the B screw here. The B screw controls how far, basically it controls, the B screw controls this angle here, the angle of the derailleur. Basically it controls the distance between the jockey wheel on the derailleur and the block, the cassette there. That's what the B screw does. Just bear with me a minute. Because yeah, so I do have an important point here. The B screw in the high limit shoe should never need adjusting. If your bikes work normally and then your chain starts either going into the spokes off the cassette, this side, or going this side off the cassette into the frame, that means that your B screw have been adjusted by someone, by a person with a screwdriver. I'm telling you, 100%, it cannot happen any other way. Cannot happen. So let's just test this derailleur, because it was working pretty well the other day. We've made minor adjustments to the B screw, and obviously we've put in a new cable. So let's just see how it's shifting. It's not bad. Yeah, you know, that's fine for me. That's fine for me. It isn't an Olympic velodrome bike. You know, we're not concerned about losing a watt or two, and it doesn't have to be ideal. But let's just move it manually and see what it does. This is basically how you test the limit screws. So in, I'm pushing it all the way in. I'm stretching the spring and pushing the spring all the way out. Look, as hard as I can push that, and look, the chain does not go into the chain does not jump off the cassette into the spokes. So we know it's set correctly, roughly correctly. And when I quickly release, it shouldn't go into the frame on this side either. Watch. Look, see, goes perfectly into the highest gear, which is the small ring. So this derailleur is set up properly. It's had a new cable. The cable can be cut, and the ferrule can be put on the end. But as you know, there is a bit of a problem with the front derailleur. You know, it's like there's some sort of fault. But I'll do that in another video. But the idea of this video is that these two limit screws here, they just can't magically unwind, go in or out. You could throw that thing out of a fucking plane down a mountain and those limit screws would stay in that flipping derailleur. They can't just... If your derailleur's been working normally and your gears have been shifting up and down the block, and then suddenly those limit screws need adjusting because either your gears aren't working correctly or the chain is jumping off the cassette and out, that means that those screws have been fiddled with by someone, basically. That's all I'm trying to say. That's the point of this little video. Bye for now.